Hi folks, glad you could join me for this little session here. And if you remember our last video, we talked about which paint is best and uh, cheap versus steep. And basically this came out of some of my students asking me, what paint should they buy when they're starting off. And after doing a lot of research about different paints and so on, this is the conclusion that I came to. In fact, I give over 10 different types of paint to a few people to do swatches and to test them out, and then to give them to me in a blind test, so to speak. And I had to pick out of them which ones I felt were the best color combinations. And I know things are very subjective when it comes to paint, and it all depends on what style you're painting in. I mean, if you're a landscape painter, you'll more likely have a slightly different palette than what you would if you were into flowers and so on. But for me, mainly being a landscape painter, this is the perspective that I'm coming from anyway. So basically, we boiled it down to what we felt was three of the strongest. I don't mean this. You can talk about vibrancy and translucency and opacity and all those things, which do come into it. But to try and keep the thing simple, I mean, this is geared towards beginners or those who are advancing or progressing, should I say. So it's not strictly that these paints that I'm talking about are for beginners, because I do know I've come to realize that there's a lot of other folk who are professional artists as well who have been using these in their palettes. And so basically I picked the three colours, and it turned out that two of these colours happened to be two of the brands that were suggested to me through my various different suppliers. They were their top two different types of paint or brands that most people seem to gravitate towards. So I don't want to be dissing them, so to speak. So I'm not going to mention what those two brands are, but I want to focus on this particular brand that I thought was really surprising. I mean, I was very impressed by it. And it turned out that it was a paint that some of my students were using during the whole lockdown. And they really loved it and got on well with it. So this is the one that I'll be talking about today. So to give you the results of the poll we kind of done on the which one you felt was the inexpensive one. So, but it turned out that as a result of our poll, 52% of you thought the inexpensive one was palette A, or the first palette. 40% thought it was the third palette, and only 8 thought it was the middle palette. Well, here is the results. It was the middle palette, palette number 2, that was the inexpensive paint, and which was very surprising. But of course, I took on board a lot of the feedback that came as a result of those comments, and I thought to myself, maybe if you painted a bit thicker, a bit more, added a bit more pigment or less pigment, is that going to affect what you see? And of course it does. So what I did is I looked at the first three samples, and then I redid them again. This time what I decided to do was do them a lot stronger, use a bit more pigment in them, and to see if the vibrancy and the translucency and would change with more pigment in them. So this is the result. I'm just showing you on screen now. This is the result of me using thicker, stronger pigment. And the bottom line here, the takeaway is it's how you paint. I know that there is cheap brands and stuff that I wouldn't touch, but just there's more filler in them than there is pigment, and in that sense, if you were doing a comparison with expensive paint versus really cheap paint that you'd buy in a dollar stores, You know, there will be an obvious difference in that. But this particular paint that I'm going to talk about today happens to be considered, it's not part of the professional range within this brand, but it is considered part of their artist range, which is meant to be one step up from student quality. So here is the big reveal. It's a brand, the British, they pronounce it Van Gogh. The Americans pronounce it Van Gogh. But apparently it's meant to be pronounced Van Ha. So if that's pronounced wrong and you know the exact pronunciation of that, I'd love to hear this back in the comments. So just to give you a bit of a close-up on the palette I was using. So this is the paint that I'm talking about here. There's quite a lot of variation in colours. I try to keep two yellows, two reds, two blues. As long as they're in there, that's the main thing. And they're a cool and a warm of each. And so this palette itself, this is a wee palette that Ken Bromley are doing. And they're quite a heavy metal. And I've made my own palettes over the years out of brass. And they'll last a lifetime. But this is the first that I've seen these coming on the market. Something as well made as this. It's a good heavy palette. Well made, well painted, and has your thumb ring over it. So if you need a palette as well, something that's well made and pretty substantial, you can get these of Ken Bromley. This is 3 wells. They do a bigger one that has 4 wells. And this is kind of based on the old Winsor Newton palettes that were really well made. I don't know if you can still get them or not. I've certainly looked around, and this is the next best thing, if not as comparable with it. So definitely worth having a look at, and they're not too expensive either. So just to make you aware that I have put a link in the description. It's kind of an affiliate link. So basically it benefits you and it benefits me if you go through that link, and that would be greatly appreciated. But definitely no problem in recommending these metal palettes or the paint that's in them. So when I started using these and thinking, well, what can I do with these paints? I mean, how far can I push them? So what I did was I done a wee painting, as you'll see on the screen now coming up, and I'll just take you through basically 3 colours. So the 3 colours that I chose were yellow ochre, French ultramarine blue, and a cad red. So just these 3 colours, and I wanted to just test this just for its vibrancy and translucency. Was it any good at layering? Could it give me what I needed in just 3 colours? So obviously you've seen the autumn scene, and you've seen how I could get quite a range in there. But I wanted to look at the translucency and the layering effect to see how that would work. So this next painting is based on that. So do hang around and just, I will play it through sped up. There's nothing worse than watching paint dry, so to speak. So if you want to paint along with me with 3 colours and just see what your brand can do for you here, but definitely worth a look at Van Gogh or Van Ha. And it's a great palette, especially if you're traveling and you want to bring your expensive kit with you, or if you want to experiment with some ideas. This is a great range for that. So I've been very surprised by it, and I'll be certainly using it a bit more. This is something that's purely born out of students asking me what's a good paint to start with. It's definitely a good paint to start with. It's the price of it compared to your well-known brands is a fraction of the price, and what you'll find is as all paint, you'll find that you'll end up with different brands and different colours within those brands. that help to make up your palette. But I will definitely be incorporating this into my professional practice, because there's just some great colours there, and I'll be using this alongside the colours that I normally use. So it's just a case of experimenting, practicing with this, but definitely have a look into it. And if you're also, I know there's some people that are subscribed to the channel who are also teachers and who teach art, definitely worth having a look at this for your students as well. So folks, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to switch over to my palette here, and I'm going to just show you a wee palette that I made up with these paints, and I'm going to do the painting that I talked about. So folks, grab your brushes and get the sleeves rolled up, and let's get stuck in. We'll have a look at these paints in their palette, which I didn't show you in the last video, but I'm going to show you the palette now. And I'm going to do a wee painting for you, and do join along and have a go at this wee paint as well. And so we'll just get our sleeves rolled up and we'll get stuck in. So there you go, folks. There's our wee painting for today, and demonstrating with those paints. So if you do happen to come across them, why don't you get yourself a wee set or a few colours, even if it's the 3 primaries, just to try them out for yourself and see how you get on with them. And folks, if you're enjoying this content and you're getting a lot out of it, you'd be doing me a great favour if you subscribe to the channel and just hit that bell for notifications of other paintings that'll be coming out in the new year. So until then, folks, you take care and have a good break. See you soon now.